Welcome back to Tailored Talks. Terry here with the Tailored Realty team. We're doing our second segment with Jay Harris of Champion Defense LLC at his shooting complex here in Swansea, South Carolina. Now, in the first segment, we kind of talked a little bit about, just gun safety and general gun information, what goes on here at the complex, just some things that Jay and his team offers. In this episode, we want to look a little bit at not only training, but we also want to talk about the concealed weapons permit, the CWP class. And Jay's going to give us a few insights as far as what that class involves, what kind of things can happen when we do that. So in the last episode, you mentioned we can go to your website to see when those CWP classes are being offered. Mm-hmm. But before we even go there, what kind of carry state is South Carolina? And can you explain that a little bit?
Yes, sir. So South Carolina is a constitutional carry state, which means anyone of legal age of 18 that doesn't have a felony or any background can legally carry and possess a firearm, a pistol or rifle, mainly pistol, and carry that pistol on them. They can carry either open carry or concealed carry. Open carry means your garments aren't covering your firearm, and then concealed carry means your garments are covering that firearm. So as a constitutional carry state, you can carry any of those configurations. You can carry anywhere in your vehicle. And you don't, prior to the law changing, you had to let an officer know you had your firearm in your vehicle and if you got pulled over in a traffic stop. Now you don't have to, do that. And you do not have to have a South Carolina CWP to do so, to carry the firearm anymore.
Okay. And I thought I understood that to a certain extent. However, this is just Terry talking. Mm-hmm. I felt like I'll still get my CWP. Mm-hmm. I think it's something that should be done. Even though it's a constitutional carry state. Do you recommend one over the other as far as open carry versus concealed? Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on the CWP course? Obviously, you teach it, but even though this is a constitutional carry state, do you think people should still get the CWP?
Yes, I highly encourage people to get the CWP. With the CWP course, you're going to learn with my class, we teach the NRA basic pistol as part of that as a conjunction with it. So you're going to learn the basic fundamentals about your firearm, how to use them, how to select them on the different platforms, and how to use the fundamentals correctly. Then we're going to learn the laws governing carrying a firearm in South Carolina, because even though it's constitutional carry, there's a lot of laws surrounding carrying a firearm. And there's a lot of legalities if you were to use your firearm that people think that if someone bothers me, I can go resort to a firearm. And South Carolina is a duty to retreat state. There is some place where you have stand your ground, like in your home, place of worship, things like that. But the majority of your day, you're in an area where you have to try to de-escalate the situation, so you cannot just resort to your firearm. And these are things we teach in the CWP course. Also, by obtaining a CWP, you get reciprocity where you can travel outside the state with your firearm, because not every state is constitutional carry. And even if they were, you have to still carry in the configuration of that state. Okay. And lastly, buying a firearm is a lot easier because you don't have to get a background check every time. And then if you were to use your firearm and found guilty, the penalties can be less if you have a CWP. So highly encourage having a CWP.
Wow, that's good to know. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, like you said, you do the NAR pistol as well, but the CWP is not only going to tell you a little bit more about your firearm, mm-hmm. but the laws surrounding it. Mm-hmm. And I think that's important. You can't just shoot somebody and it's all good, right? We got to be responsible. And did I hear you correctly? You said it's duty to retreat? Is that
duty to retreat? So you have to try to de-escalate the situation. So in that class, we're going to teach you how to de-escalation techniques, proper carry techniques. We highly encourage you to conceal carry, because that's part of your retention. Because we teach proper holsters and for retaining the firearm if you were to get someone's trying to take it from you. But the first stages of retention is to just cover the firearm. If I know you have it, you have nothing to take. It's right. Like no one walks around with money hanging around their necks and they're stolen. So keeping that firearm and being more discreet with it, not open carrying and letting everyone know you have a firearm, gets the X off your back, so to speak. Because if there is an intruder, you're the first person he's going to want to take out because he sees you as a gun. Or if it's a bad guy or criminal out there that can't obtain a gun legally, he's going to try to take yours. So just being discreet, keeping that gun on you, and staying concealed is the best protection when you carry your firearm.
And I'm a forensic files, Dateline kind of guy. I look at a lot of these different shows, and one of the things I've noticed, and maybe you can help me with this. I know sometimes they talk about, brandishing a weapon or threatening someone. You can still kind of get in trouble for that, even though it's a constitutional carry. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah. And with the constitutional carry, obviously, it's already out. Back in the day, prior to constitutional carry, it was a complete concealed carry state. There was a brandish law where you just simply lift up your arms too high and it showed your gun. It could be considered brandishing. It was completely accident. Then it went to the open carry where you can open carry. Now it's constitutional carry. So brandishing your gun would be just pulling it out. So if I had my gun holstered and we were getting any kind of confrontation and I pulled it out as kind of a threatening manner, or even just as a warning, if the person could, take that as brandishing, because now I'm using my firearm to intimidate the situation. And being that it's a duty-to-treat state, you have to try to de-escalate the situation by taking my gun out my holster. That's escalating, all right? So you lose your ability to claim self-defense if you're part of bringing on that difficulty. And that's what, this law states.
And what I like about what I heard just now, even with the CWP course and some of the things that you're mentioning, there's a high degree of volatility nowadays, and people don't seem to de-escalate. Everything seems to be, we're popping off. Everybody's angry. Everybody's got their, these issues that they're dealing with. And getting in a classroom setting with like-minded individuals and coming up with ways to de-escalate, sometimes, I guess, aggressive and confrontational type situations, I think is good. I think we need more of that. And even though I'm in favor of guns and having guns, I think we do have to continue to be responsible, receive the proper training, and even accuracy. I think people don't realize, if you're out there, even if you're in a confrontation with somebody, you do have to use your gun. If you got a stray bullet that hits someone that has nothing to do with it, you're in trouble.
Yeah, you're responsible for every round that leaves your firearm, and we stress that. And that's why, our principles here is speed and accuracy. So speed meaning you're set up to get and deploy your firearm as fast as possible if needed, but it should be the last resort. But if it does come out, it needs to be intentional, and you need to be accurate with it and know your ammunition. One of the things we teach in the class is ballistics and proper ammunition selection, because it all matters. We also, we teamed up with Right to Bear concealed carries insurance, so that gives you some kind of coverage, because if you do use that firearm, there's going to be a lot of legal things following you that can be very costly. And then Right to Bear can come in and they'll pay for your lost wages if you have to get arrested. They pay for your bonds and things like that. Maybe do that on another segment. But shooters have to understand, if you're going to be carrying a firearm, it's a huge responsibility. It's a last resort. And de-escalation should be first. Obviously your gun's a last resort, so you might have to go to hands, feet, and elbows first. But before you even get there, use your words. Use your words. Use your body language. And you never know what a person's going through. Just try to calm the situation down and remove yourself from the situation as best you can before resorting to that gun. The gun is there to protect you and your family as a last resort.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Now, this is a self-defense. So what are there other non-lethal means to defend yourself? Anything that you recommend?
Mace is a good option to carry. I carry mace.
Now, is there a difference between mace and pepper spray?
Pepper spray. You got mace is mace, but pepper spray or pepper gel is when it gets to the difference, right?
Okay.
So you want a gel base, because when it's windy or stuff like that, it actually sprays in a better stream and it gets stuck on the skin. My wife, she carries a pepper gel that has a dye in it, and the reason why that's important, because if your intruder runs off, if the authorities find that suspect, they could put the UV light over him and the dye aglow, whether he cleans it off or not, and it lasts pretty long. So even if they spray and he gets away, it's going to be on his clothes, his hands, somewhere, so they can hopefully catch that suspect. So I recommend those. Tasers are a good option, and it's something that's as simple as a bright flashlight. A 1,000 lumen flashlight can get and allow someone to break the disc, give you that split second to get away from someone. People may laugh when they hear flashlight, but a flashlight can do a lot for you if you know how to use it properly.
Oh yeah, I've been disoriented by a flashlight plenty of times, so it definitely makes sense. So let's talk a little bit about training. So certainly, I recommend, I'm sure you recommend, get you a range membership, get out here, work on speed and accuracy. if we can't do that, do you offer private training? Do you train individuals or families? Let's say, Jay, I just can't get out to Swansea. I'm in Lexington or I'm in Elgin or I'm too far away and I just won't be able to get out. But can you come to my house and show me and train me and my family on what we should do here in the home? You know, is there a service? Do you put packages together like that?
Yeah, not necessarily packs, like one-on-one. If someone calls and want to do it, I know there's a few real estate agents that called me, and I did walkthroughs and, you know, part of their open house and talk to the families in the homes about best place to secure the gun, best place to kind of barricade, because we like to teach the barricade method in the home. You're not going to clear the room like John Wick, anything like that. You're going to barricade and call the police. And we highly discourage you from doing that unless you necessarily have to get to your family.
Right.
But yes, it's something that we can definitely facilitate it and come to the house. The only thing when it comes to the shooting, we would have to come here for the range. But as far as the basic safety and things like that, or teach you how to dry fire with your firearm, we can definitely do that.
And what is dry fire?
Dry fire is a method of using an empty gun, making sure it's chamber safe, no bullets around, and just putting it in your holster that you're going to wear. And then you just you can put a target on a wall, use a light switch, anything as an aiming point, and you draw that gun. Make sure you're in a proper stance, you're having a proper grip with the firearm. And when you draw it, you line up those sights, get on target, and pull in the trigger, reset, and do it again. And what that's going to do is get you used to acquiring and your target really fast and getting comfortable with drawing that firearm out of your holster properly.
Awesome. So it is a way of training, you know, without coming to the range. You think people that dry fire at home are better when they get to the range?
Absolutely. Okay. I dry fire so much, my wife is probably tired of it. We have a laser gun. It's a fake gun, but it's like weighted the same as mine. And it clicks, and as the laser hits the wall, and you know. And if that laser was real, I have holes all over my house because I dry fire quite often, and that gives me the ability to shoot faster without that action.
So if an expert has to do it, we as lay people that don't do it as often, we definitely need to do it.
Yep, you can practice your mag change and just manipulating those switches, and you get really good at it where it's second nature to you.
So what's missing from the dry fire that we'll pick up once we get to the range?
The recoil of the gun, the sound of the gun, and all that. So you still.
So what's recoil? What is
recoil? Is when that gun fires. The energy is gonna make the gun come back. The muzzle's gonna flip up. So in the class, teach you proper holding techniques so you can mitigate some of that recoil. So we call it, you know, recoil management. So obviously, if you're going to do dry fire and there's no recoil, there are different platforms out there that you can put air. It's like an air device you can put in there and slide, and it gives you a little bit of recoil, makes the slide move back. It gives you some of that recoil impulse, but it's not the same as actually shooting a gun. So we always say dry fire is a supplement to, you know, the real thing. But you could dry fire anywhere as long as you're doing it safely. Again, no ammunition in the gun.
Right.
And then in a safe area, you're still not pointing the gun at anyone, and, you know, using the 5 cardinal rules when you're doing it.
So if we're going to start talking again, we're here during the holidays. It's getting to be Christmas time. One of the things people don't know sometimes is what to get a family member, what to get a friend, what to get a spouse. So I've heard training. You can do one-on-ones. What's the advantage of one-on-one versus a group setting, you think?
One-on-one, it's more geared to you, right? So if it's one-on-one, and even though our ratio for instruction in our bigger class is 2 to 1, so for every 2 students, we have 1 instructor by their side in our bigger classes. But with a one-on-one, now we can have a conversation just about your needs, your fears, your strengths, and then I can focus on those. If it's magazine change, we'll do drills just to help you on that. If it's foot movement, we'll do drills on that. If it's just simple accuracy, we'll do that, or comfortable. So it helps me tailor the class just for you and not for the whole crowd, and it's not a set curriculum. Obviously, if it's a one-on-one CWP, we got to get through that curriculum. But when we hit the range, now I'm focused just simply on you to get some of those shortcomings out or some of those bad habits.
Awesome. Well, Jay, thank you so much for, again, allowing us to come out. Again, it's the holidays. So think about getting a range membership. I think you can get them for individuals as well as families.
Day passes and weekly passes as well.
Day passes, weekly passes. Go on their website, look at what they're offering, give them a call, especially if it's something kind of like what we talked about. If you want to tailor something for your home, if you're not sure, you know, what's the best scenarios or what's the best place to be in your home, contact Jay and see if he can get out there and help you out, because ultimately we're talking about protecting our families, which, as Jay mentioned earlier, we were talking sidebar earlier, as the head of the household, it's our responsibility to make sure our families are safe and protected. So thanks again for joining us for this episode of Taylor Talks. Before we leave, we're going to let Jay tell us once again, give us your address and the best way to contact you if somebody wants to set up a membership or just come out and take a look at the facility.
Our website is championdefensellc.com. So that's www.championdefensellc.com. You can give us a call at 803-553-73 or send us an email at info@championdefensellc.com. We're located at 2040 Pine Plain Road out in Swansea, South Carolina. And again, our hours of operation are Tuesday through Thursday, 11:30 to 5, Friday and Saturday, 9 to 5, and Sundays, 1 to 5. We'd love to have you and love to help you. Come see us.